Most people won't admit this, but a lot of people are shallow. And honestly, that's not even the problem. The real problem is pretending they're not.
Narcbegone presents
Pretty Privilege.
We like to believe that people care about personality first. That depth matters more than appearance. That intelligence, kindness, and authenticity are what truly attract people. And eventually, those things do matter, but not at first. First, people see you. Before they hear you, before they understand you, before they know anything about who you are, they see you. And in that moment, whether we like it or not, judgments are made. There's a concept in psychology called the halo effect, and it basically means this. When someone is attractive, people automatically assume they're better in other ways too. Smarter, kinder, more capable. Even when there's no actual evidence, it happens instantly. For example, studies have indicated that attractive people can earn around 10 to 20% more income on average. That discrepancy can sometimes amount to thousands of dollars annually, not because they're working harder or because they're more skilled, but because they're perceived differently. Beauty doesn't just affect how people treat you, it literally affects how much money you make. Conventionally attractive people are more likely to be hired and promoted. They are also more likely to be seen as professional or competent. And this is where things start to become uncomfortable, because we're taught that success is about hard work. And it is, but it's also about perception, and perception is influenced by appearance. Now, this statement doesn't mean life is easy if you're attractive, and it doesn't mean people who aren't conventionally attractive can't succeed, but it does mean this: some people are starting the race a few steps ahead, and that advantage shows up in more places than you think, even in school. There have been studies showing that attractive students can receive higher grades, even when the quality of their work is the same, which means two students can submit similar assignments, put in the same effort, have the same level of understanding, and still be evaluated differently. Not necessarily because teachers are trying to be unfair, but because of unconscious bias. So when a teacher's grading, especially in more subjective areas like essays, presentations, or participation, those small perceptions can influence the final outcome. It's subtle, it's not always intentional, but it adds up. And it doesn't stop at grades. Attractive students are also more likely to be called on more often, receive more attention, be viewed more positively in class discussions. Attractive people are more likely to receive help in social situations, more likely to be trusted and to be treated kindly. Even in serious situations like legal judgments, appearance can influence how people are perceived. So this isn't just about beauty in a superficial sense. This is about how deeply appearance is tied to human behavior. Now let's talk about something important. Pretty privilege does not affect everyone equally. There's a race, which makes this conversation even more complex, because beauty standards are not neutral. They're shaped by culture, by history, and in many cases, they've been influenced by Eurocentric features, which means pretty privilege doesn't look the same for everyone. Some people are naturally closer to what society defines as beautiful, and others have to work harder to be seen in the same way. So when we talk about pretty privilege, we're also talking about systems and not just individuals. Studies have shown that often candidates who are perceived as more attractive and closer to dominant beauty standards are more likely to be selected. For example, Black women often exist at the intersection of both gender bias and racial bias. Research on workplace discrimination has shown that certain features, like natural hair, darker skin tones, or Afrocentric features, can be judged more harshly in professional settings. There have even been studies and real workplace cases showing that Black women with natural hairstyles were seen as less professional compared to those who conform to more Eurocentric styles. Then there's age. Pretty privilege tends to be strongest when you're younger, because youth is often associated with beauty, energy, and desirability. But as time goes on, it's not just about natural features, and it becomes more about presentation, how you carry yourself, how you take care of yourself, how intentional you are, And this is where the conversation shifts, because a lot of people hear this and immediately feel discouraged. But that's not the point. The point is not life is unfair, so give up. The point is understand how the world works so you can move smarter in it. Because here's the truth. Beauty is not just something you're born with, it's also something you build. Not in the sense of changing who you are, but in the way you present yourself. Your style, your grooming, your posture, your confidence, and your energy, all of these things affect how people perceive you, which definitely fucking creates opportunity. And in today's world, this effect is even stronger. We live in a visual society, social media, content, personal branding. People are constantly being seen before they're understood. There's even emerging research showing that bias toward attractiveness is showing up in technology and AI systems, meaning even machines are starting to reflect the same patterns humans have. So this isn't going away. If anything, it's becoming more visible. And this is where you have a choice. You can reject this reality or say it's shallow, or you can understand it and decide how you want to respond to it, because pretty privilege is not everything. It can open doors, but it doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't replace intelligence, character, and depth. It just changes how easily certain opportunities come to you. So instead of asking, is this fair? A better question might be, how can I use what I have more intentionally? Because at the end of the day, whether people admit it or not, appearance influences perception. Even in cartoons, things we watched as children, appearance is quietly treated as a kind of currency. If you look at the Powerpuff Girls, the girls are not only powerful, they are also designed to be visually cute, with large eyes, soft features, and bright colors that instantly make them more lovable and trustworthy to the audience. Compare that to many of the villains, who are often exaggerated in ways that make them look unpleasant or less appealing, reinforcing the idea that how you look reflects who you are. The same pattern shows up in Teen Titans, where characters like Starfire and Raven are not just strong, but aesthetically appealing, which influences how they're received, while villains are frequently designed to look more intimidating or unattractive. Even as children, we're being subtly taught that beauty is associated with goodness, desirability, and attention, while a lack of it is often linked to negativity or rejection. So before we're even old enough to question it, we've already internalized the idea that how you look can shape how people see you, treat you, and even value you. And if you look a little deeper, cartoons don't just link beauty to goodness. They also show how appearance affects social treatment. In shows like Totally Spies, the main characters are not only skilled agents, but they're also consistently styled to be fashionable and attractive, and that often helps them blend in, gain access, or be taken less seriously in ways that actually work to their advantage. On the other hand, characters who don't fit conventional beauty standards are more likely to be comic relief, overlooked, or not taken seriously. While you can't control every standard, you can control how you show up within them. And this is where things shift from awareness to strategy. Start with the basics, and I don't mean perfection, I mean intention. How do you present yourself daily? Are your clothes communicating something about you? Not necessarily expensive, but intentional, clean, thought out, aligned with how you want to be perceived. Grooming matters more than people like to admit. Hair, skin, hygiene. Not because you need to look flawless, but because these things signal care, and people respond to that. Then there's posture. The way you walk into a room, the way you sit, the way you hold eye contact. These things might seem small, but they shape how people read you. And then there's energy. Confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes it's calm, grounded, and certain. People can feel when you're comfortable with yourself, and that alone can change how they respond to you. Another thing people overlook is understanding your own features. Not trying to look like someone else, not chasing every trend, but actually paying attention to what works for you. Now, let's be clear about something. This is not about reducing yourself to your appearance. You are not just how you look. Your intelligence, your personality, your depth, those things matter a lot. So instead of rejecting that idea, you can use it. You're moving with awareness, And awareness is power. So yes, pretty privilege is real. It's measurable, it's present, but it's not everything. And now that you understand it a little more deeply, the question becomes, how are you going to use that awareness to your advantage?